Greetings and light family, I hope that you are well. So this entire video is dedicated to the different types of locks. I do a lot of lock videos. I have a whole playlist dedicated to lock videos. Feel free to click the link above and you can see that playlist and choose to watch whichever video you want, answering multiple questions that I get about locks quite often. But this video is going right back to the basics, which are what are the different type of locks. So let's get started. Now, when I'm talking about types of locks, I have to start with the original form of locks. And if you check out my video, The History of Locks, you'll see why I say this is the original form, but it simply is. Freeform locking. Freeform locks are simply locks that you allow to form freely. You do not do anything to cultivate or manipulate them to lock. You just allow your hair to grow and lock on its own. Everyone has the ability to freeform, no matter the hair type, no matter the hair texture, no matter anything. Anyone can let their hair freeform. All you have to do is just simply allow your hair to grow and lock on its own. You do not comb it, you do not brush it, you do not roll it, you do not twist it, you don't do anything to it. You just allow your hair to grow and lock on its own. And the way that the hair locks is, it just simply starts to kink up or mat up and compact together and lock in compact forms of matted hair. Now, for some people, they may be like, what? But I am a freeform locker, so I'm going to do a close-up. So this lock is actually, I didn't even mean to pull this one, but this is a sample, an example of things that freeformers go through, which is a positive thing. This is a two-headed dragon. Two-headed dragon just simply means that it's two locks it started out as two locks and they have married, as you can see here, and become one lock. So two locks that have married and become one lock. And as I'm actually looking, this is Freeformer life. You never know what's going on this side of your head. So as I'm actually looking, this is actually not a two-headed dragon. It's actually a three-headed dragon, because this lock was actually two locks. If you can see here, let me go close. This lock was actually two locks that married, and then they married to another lock, and now it's three. So you have 1, 2, 3 heads, 3 different locks that have come together to form one lock. So this lock is a three-headed dragon. Now, what I meant when I said compacted hair, do you see how my hair is very much compacted together? It is not in a certain pattern. It is not in a certain twisted pattern. I am a person who I can look at someone's locks and tell whether or not they are freeforming or cultivating their hair just simply by looking closely at the hair strands and how they are compacted together. It is clear to tell the difference. And I'll insert some pictures of people who have cultivated locks and maybe in the video later so you can see the difference. But do you see how my hair is compacted together? A pro of freeforming, because you are just washing, oiling, and going, you do not have to go to a loctician, a salon, or anything. You can just allow your hair to form freely. I've never been to a salon or anything for my locks. Everything I do it at home. You can also watch like some of my wash routines and how I maintain my locks. I have a couple of videos dedicated to maintaining locks and wash tutorials and things. But you can watch that in the Freeform Loc playlist that I have on my channel. But yes, you do everything at home. You don't have to go to a salon or anything to get your locks maintained or cultivated. Everything is free, easy, because once again, your locks are forming freely. The last thing about freeform locks, and the key way to notice freeform, is that we all have loose roots. Because we are not cultivating our hair, we allow it to form freely. The roots of our hair are constantly loose. So I'll also do a close-up and give you an example. You can actually, I don't even really need to pull it. You can just see alone by my edges. Look at this hair. You can see that I have very loose roots, but I'll just pull I don't know if you can really even see this in the camera. Let me go super close. Look, do you see how the roots of my hair are loose? Look, here's another line. Look, see how I can just put my finger right through it? Loose roots, right? So because we are not locking our hair, we're not twisting our hair, our roots are constantly loose. Now, a lot of people may not know this, but even in the freeform community, there is a divide, right? And if you look at some of my freeform videos, you'll be able to see in the comments of people saying like, oh, this and all that, like talking about that divide in the freeform community. And the divide comes down to organic freeform locks versus semi-freeform locks. And even in the organic freeform freeform lock community, there is a difference. So what's the difference between organic freeform locks and semi-freeform? Organic freeformers are freeformers who do not do anything to manipulate their hair to lock. When you are organic freeformer, you never ever twist, you never back comb, you never palm roll, you never do anything to get your hair to lock. From root to fruit, your locks are always forming freely. Now, semi-freeformers are people who, they may like palm roll, or they may lightly twist their hair, or they may do like little finger coil at the hair, or even like here where you see I have like some loose root that I will just allow to naturally either become a lock on its own, or it will like lock into the lock that's closest to it. Some people will take that and tuck it and like interlock it into a lock, or twist it around a lock. All of that is considered cultivation because you are doing something to get your hair to lock. Semi-freeformers are people who just ever so often do something to cultivate their hair to get it to lock a certain way. Some of them may say like, oh, I'm just doing it to repair my locks, or I just do it to do a little bit of maintenance to my locks. But anytime you do something to get your hair to lock, that is considered cultivation. Therefore, they may be considered a semi-freeformer. Now, for me personally, I don't really care about the organic versus semi-freeform thing. I myself consider myself an organic freeformer. I do not ever do anything to manipulate my hair. As you can see, based on the three-headed dragon I just showed you, I don't separate my locks. I don't do anything to it. My locks just naturally form this way. I have thicker locks like this one. And you see the ends of my locks. I have some blunted ends, some loose ends. But yes, I have, this is the end of one of my thicker locks. And then I have some skinnier locks. I'll find a skinny one in here. Or let me start with I have like a medium, which this is like a medium lock. You can see here. And then it's somewhere in here. I'm trying to find like my skinniest one. This is one of my skinniest locks. I have some skinny locks like this, right? So I have locks of all different shapes and sizes, and that is another key way to distinguish freeformers. But I'm an organic freeformer. I've never done anything to cultivate my hair any type of way. Semi-freeformers ever so often may palm roll. I have a friend who she palm rolls like she palm rolls twice a year, so once every 6 months she palm rolls. She'll be considered a semi-freeformer for some people. And then once again, you just have those people who may do a little nip and tuck and a little twist every now and again, but those are all semi-freeformers. Now, when we talk about semi-freeforming, there is an unspoken myth out here that some people think if they see huge Congo locks, that means that that person is an organic freeformer. However, I'm about to burst that bubble, burst that myth, and put an end to it once and for all. If you do anything to cultivate or manipulate your hair to lock in a certain way, you are considered a semi-freeformer because you are cultivating your locks. That includes putting rubber bands on your hair to get them to lock in a certain way, to get them to combine in a certain way. You are not naturally allowing your hair to marry or lock. A lot of people who you may see with that one huge Congo lock or 2 or 3 huge Congo locks, what they have done is they put rubber bands or they braided or twisted their locks together to get them to combine in that way. This is a format that was used by Lil Wayne. That was like the most popular person who used it, where he started out with cultivated locks and then he braided his locks together and let them lock so that they can look like they were Congo freeform locks, and he started freeforming after that. So he stopped getting his locks twisted and he just started letting them lock naturally. But in order to get them to have that Congo look, he braided them together and then put rubber bands on the ends so that they can lock together. Braiding your locks, twisting your locks together to force them to combine is cultivation. That is not happening naturally. So that is also semi-freeforming. If you are taking a bunch of locks together and rubber banding them together, that is cultivation. They are not marrying naturally. That is semi-freeforming. Free-forming, organic free-forming is when you let your hair naturally grow and lock on its own. Whatever marries, marries. Whatever stays separated, whatever. But when you do anything to manipulate your hair or cultivate your hair to lock in a certain way, a certain pattern, lock together, lock separately, whatever, that is semi-free-forming. Now, when it comes to the organic freeform lock community, I know y'all are like, what? This is a lot, and it is a lot, trust me. The debate is endless. But in the organic freeform lock community, there's even a divide there, right? Where you have some organic freeformers who feel like you are not a natural organic freeformer if you wash your hair. Yes. And I know some of y'all are like, what? Ew. And for me, I just truly, I have, to each his own, to each his own, but I just feel like wash your hair, people. Wash your hair. Whether you want to do apple cider vinegar rinses, herb rinses, whatever, but please allow water to touch your hair and your scalp. There is this thing out there in the freeform community that you have some organic freeformers that feel like if you wash your hair, then you are not a real freeformer. I even have in the comments of some of my wash tutorial videos of people being like, oh, you're washing it, that's not freeforming. For me, wash your hair, put a little bit of oil on it. Please do not feed into that negative stereotype of locks are dirty and nasty. And I feel like not washing your hair ever, like they don't ever wash their hair. They don't allow water to touch their hair at all. For me, that is just like, it's not what I choose. But there are some people who choose that, and they believe that they are the only real organic freeformers, and anything other than not washing your hair and letting it grow natural and just letting it be free, they think anything other than that is not freeforming. I beg to differ, but to each his own. So that is a divide in the organic freeform lock community. People who wash their hair and people who don't wash their hair. But you can do more research on that and decide which path you want to choose. There are a lot of benefits of washing your hair, like having clean hair, being able to remove dirt, grime, negative energy. There are a lot of benefits of washing your hair no matter which method you choose. ACV, herb rinses, you want to use castile soap. Some people use like regular shampoos. I don't recommend that. You can watch my wash tutorial to see what I recommend with washing your hair. But yes, there are a lot of divides in that area. So I'm done. I'm off the topic of freeform locks. Break it down into the communities of freeform locks, which you have organic versus semi-freeform, and then break it down even further where you have organic wash and organic don't wash. Okay, so that is the journey of freeform. And now let's move on to cultivated locks. I hope that this video was helpful. If you are considering freeforming, please do it. One of the best decisions I have ever made. Whether you want to be an organic freeformer, semi-freeformer, whatever, it is all up to you. This is part 1. Part 2, where I talk about the different types of cultivated locks, is coming very, very soon. It's already recorded, so please stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below if you want to discuss something, you have a video suggestion, you want to give advice, you have something that you want to say about something I said in the video. Please just leave it in the comments below, and I'll either respond directly or I may do an entire video dedicated to your comment or your question. Much love, much light, peace, knowledge, wisdom, overstanding, family, wellness.